In 227 BC, a man walked into the palace of the most powerful empire in the world. Inside the map hidden in his sleeve was a dagger coated with poison. He had only one goal that day: to kill the man who was about to unify China, and the next few minutes would change the course of the next 2,000 years. This story has several points worth thinking about. Why would King Jing Ke of Qin agree to meet an envoy from Yan? Why would an assassin who supposedly killed at 12 suddenly tremble when he entered the royal hall? So, how did this all play out? The real story is hidden in 3 ancient books: the Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian, the Ziji Tongjian by Sima Guang, and the Strategies of the Warring States. The details they recorded are even more vivid than the legends. In this episode, we'll take it slow, starting with 2 boys. In the 3rd century BC, in Handan, the capital of Zhao, there lived a hostage from Yan, a prince named Ji Dan, later known as Crown Prince Dan. In the same city lived another child, a royal descendant of Qin named Ying Zheng. Ying Zheng's father had also been sent to Zhao as a hostage, and Ying Zheng himself was born in Handan. In that era, hostages were political bargaining chips. When relations were good, hostages lived relatively well. When relations broke down, they were the first to be killed. Both Yan and Qin were unwelcome in Zhao, and the 2 lonely boys became friends. Who could have imagined that decades later they would try to kill each other? Decades passed. Ying Zheng ascended the throne of Qin, never forgetting his ambition to conquer the 6 states and unify the world. Han had fallen. Zhao was about to fall, and the weak state of Yan was like a deer watching a predator approach. To appease Qin, Yan once again sent Crown Prince Dan as a hostage, perhaps hoping the king would spare Yan out of past friendship. But Ying Zheng would never change the ambitions of generations of Qin rulers for personal feelings. So when Crown Prince Dan realized Qin would eventually destroy Yan, his relationship with Ying Zheng deteriorated rapidly. In 223 BC, he fled back to Yan, filled with hatred. Crown Prince Dan thought day and night about one question: how could Yan avoid being swallowed by Qin? At that moment, an unexpected visitor arrived in Yan. His name was Fan Wuqi. He had once been a general of Qin, but after offending Ying Zheng, his entire family was executed, and he himself was wanted, with a huge bounty on his head. He fled through many states, but no one dared to shelter him. In the end, he came to Yan, and Crown Prince Dan took him in. This decision terrified Prince Dan's teacher, Zhu Wu. Zhu Wu said to him, "Send General Fan to the Xiongnu. Qin is watching us. Taking in the man the King of Qin hates most is like leaving meat by the roadside and inviting a tiger." But Crown Prince Dan refused. He said, "General Fan came to me with nowhere else to go. I cannot betray a friend." Zhu Wu then advised him to unite with other states to resist Qin. Prince Dan shook his head and said, "It's too late." At that moment, a thought had already formed in his mind, a desperate idea. What Prince Dan wanted was an assassination. Send someone with a weapon to get close to the King of Qin and kill him. This required 3 things: a man willing to die for the mission, a weapon that could kill in one strike, and an opportunity to get close to the king. Among them, the hardest part was finding that man. Zhu Wu recommended an old man named Tian Guang, a well-known recluse of Yan. Prince Dan treated Tian Guang with great respect, personally welcoming him, kneeling to invite him to sit. But Tian Guang said, "I am too old for this task, but I know someone who can. His name is Jing Ke." Before leaving, Prince Dan warned Tian Guang, "This concerns the survival of the state. Do not let it leak." Tian Guang nodded and agreed. Then he returned home, summoned Jing Ke, and told him the plan. Then Tian Guang took his own life. With his death, he sent Prince Dan a promise. This secret would be taken to the grave, and he left Jing Ke with a message. "I have guaranteed this with my life. You must carry it out." But there was still one problem: how to get close to the King of Qin. Jing Ke had a solution. He said to Prince Dan, "If we present 2 items, the king will grant us an audience. First, Fan Wuqi's head. The king hates him deeply. Second, a map of Dukong, the richest land of Yan. With these two, the king will lower his guard and meet me in person. Prince Dan hesitated. Fan Wuqi was his guest, a man who had sought refuge with him. How could he kill him? Prince Dan could not do it. So Jing Ke went to see Fan Wuqi himself. He said, "General, your entire family died at the hands of the King of Qin. Do you want revenge?" Fan Wuqi replied, "I think about it every day and every night." Jing Ke said, "Then give me your head. I will take it to Qin and carry out your revenge." Fan Wuqi fell silent for a long time. Then he drew his sword and took his own life.